Hello my dear friends, you're on the Military Summary channel, and this video we're going to talk about the most important events that took place during the previous night of the local time. First we're going to talk about Erbil once again, about Iran, about Erbil, and today we got more details and some video of results of Iranian strikes that took place during the previous few days. On this video, for example, we can see the residence of Kurdish businessman Pershraf Dizeh in Erbil, Iraq, destroyed by an Iranian missile strike. According to Iran, DJ worked for the Mossad and traded with oil with Israel. As you can see, nothing left as a result of Iranian strike. The Iranians were using 4 Fateh 110 missiles. They launched them at once at the residence, and we see the consequences. Furthermore, we got some footage of Mossad base, aerial photo of the main Israeli headquarters that was targeted by the Iranians, also in the city of Erbil. Furthermore, today we got very interesting update from the northern part of Syria. According to information we have, United States of America took a decision to evacuate their base from the northern part. The Iranians claimed that they so shook the Hamo base in Syria with their attacks that Pentagon decided to evacuate it. If you ask my opinion about the situation, I can't tell you for sure whether the reason why the United States of America took a decision to evacuate base were the strikes from Iran, but I know for sure that these days the Turkey launched their own special operation in the northern part of Syria and Iraq with Kurdish forces. As you can see, they have already launched and attacked significant number of warehouses, ammo depots, energy facilities. Mainly the Turkish forces are targeting the energy facilities of Kurdish forces, and as you can see, few strikes and few explosions took place very close to the US base in this area, which probably also the reason why the United States of America took a decision to evacuate, because they understand that Turkish forces are going to launch even a ground operation in this area, so that's why they want to move their main base as far as possible from the combat area. So maybe, to my opinions, two possible things: either the strikes of Iran or very close situation to the clashes with Turkish forces. During the previous night also, the Iran attacked the Pakistan, the village on the border with Pakistan, and according to the information we have, the Iranian forces are saying that they attacked the terrorist group somewhere in the vicinity of the village by the name of Panjur. For now, we don't have any updates more. Of course, there was a reaction from Pakistan, there was a reaction from Iran, so we'll see how the situation is going to develop. But according to the most military experts, Pakistan is not going to reply to this situation any military way, because the sources are saying that we remember the United States of America strikes in Pakistan, and there were no answer, no reply from the government, from the authorities of this country. So who knows, maybe they will make another decision this time. Who knows? Now we're moving to Kiev, to Ukraine. We have a lot of updates from this territory as well, and one of the most important one is the thing that we have already discussed during the previous videos. I told you that probably very soon Macron and France will announce about their own security agreement, and today on the 17th of January we got the confirmation that Macron first of all announced the new arms supplies to Ukraine, 40 Scalp missiles and hundreds of bombs. The French president announced his intention to coordinate them during his visit in Kiev in February. They will also sign an agreement on security guarantees for Ukraine. So now we have 3 countries that have already announced or have already signed this kind of agreement. United Kingdom have already signed. Canada and France have already announced, and Canada also have already announced about the security agreement. So the question is, who is going to be next? Obviously Germany, Poland, probably the Netherlands, and of course the United States of America. So we'll see what is going to be next, but the situation is getting worse and worse when talking about the global, let's say, heating situation. Furthermore, we got a very funny video from Ukraine as well. On this instance, you can see how the Ukrainian military authorities tried to capture and to send some Ukrainian men to the combat line to Avdiivka, but he blocked himself in his own apartments. The Ukrainian military authorities, regarding their, let's say, brutal approach to mobilize people, doesn't have possibilities to enter someone's apartments. On this video, we can see how the neighbor sent some food and probably some alcohol to the man into his apartments, and he's trying to support him while the military authorities around the home, waiting and making a trap for that person. Now we're moving to the situation on the ground, and first we're going to talk about Kharkiv. Ukrainian authorities announced about the evacuation of more than 24 settlements in the area. If you remember, a few months ago, the Ukrainians already announced some kind of evacuation, but something went wrong. Most of the people were evacuated during the previous evacuation process, but when they understood that nobody needs them, they returned back to their homes, and they found out that their houses, their buildings were robbed by the Ukrainian forces. So now the Ukrainians launched another evacuation program. We'll see what is going to be next. Maybe this is just an attempt to escalate or something like this. During the previous night, there were explosions, very heavy explosions in Kharkiv. The Russians attacked the city with ballistic missiles, significant damage, and today, this morning, we start receiving some first updates, some first photo and video about the results of the strikes. Very difficult from this angle to see, but we have just this morning the final video. As you can see, the building was almost reduced to ruins, and according to the Russians, they managed to destroy the temporary positions and concentration of Ukrainian forces. Very important update in the, let's say, when talking about possible Russian second invasion and or attacks and creation of buffer zone between Belgorod and Kharkiv area. Now we are moving further to Liman direction. We got more and more sources, more and more reliable mappers continue updating their maps. Today Syria reported that the Russians, as a result of offensive operation in Crimea forest, managed to improve their positions along the combat line, and now additional square meters were captured by the Russians. So as for now, according to the most optimistic, let's say, perspective, this territory is also under Russian control. We have colored most of this part into the gray zone. We're not going to change the area until we get some geolocations, but anyway, the progress is very big for the Russian forces, and the most important, the Russians are getting closer and closer to Seversky Donetsk River, and which will, let's say, ruin completely the Ukrainian defense belt in this area, and very likely the Russians will try to attack across Seversky Donetsk River, maybe even this summer or spring, let's say fourth or the fifth time during the battle for Siversk-Belogorovka foothold. We haven't received almost anything from Bakhmut, just few things, few geolocations of FPV drone strikes, of artillery bombings of Ukrainian positions in Bogdanovka. The clashes in the village and among the strongholds in this area continues. Today probably we're going to receive more details and updates about either the Russian or Ukrainian progress in this area. On this video we can see a very heavy artillery preparation. The first footage shows us the battle between drones, and you know that we start receiving very often the footage and video of FPV drone clashes in the sky. Obviously this is going to be something new and another warfare in the future wars and even current wars. The Russians are saying that they managed to destroy the Ukrainian Baba Yaga drone, and after they did this, they start publishing the video of multi-launch rockets bombing of Ukrainian positions on Klishchevka, Bogdanovka area. Very heavy artillery preparation. So today the Russians are going to continue their offensive operation on this foothold. When talking about Avdiivka, we got a lot of very interesting updates. The sources are saying that this night the Russians bombed Avdiivka, or at least launched Avdiivka within around 30 guided bombs, very heavy bombings. Also the Russians were attacking Avdiivka with multi-launch rocket systems, and the author of this report says that this is the beginning of artillery or aviation preparation, and today we're going to see the second round, the second tour of the battle for the village. If you remember, yesterday the Russians were attacking on the eastern part. Maybe today they will try to do the same, or we will attack from another direction. We got some updates about the Russian offensive operation in direction of Nivoyskaya. We got the first footage. The Russians during the summer and autumn, and they lost their positions on to the east of Nivoyskaya. The Ukrainians counterattack, and the Russians were forced to step back almost till Piesky and Pervomayska. But now during the winter offensive campaign, the Russians renewed their attempts to attack this village, and now they start showing showing us the footage of, let's say, Bradley attacks, or not Bradley, but armored vehicle attacks, of a tank attacks. You see on this video how the Russian personnel carrier with machine gun was attacking the Ukrainian stronghold somewhere in the fields between Nivoysk and Pervomaiska. So the Russian tank was located here, and the Russians were attacking the stronghold. So the clashes and storming operation in this area also continues. We got more updates and details from Novomikhailivka. The Russians continue their offensive operation, and today, once again, a very reliable mappers updated their maps showing the additional progress of the Russian forces on this area, and according to Syria, the progress is very huge. So according to him, the Russians established control over this territory. This is significant results, and the situation for Ukrainians in Ugledar, Vadiana and Konstantinovka is getting worse. This morning in this area also started with phabbings, with artillery bombings. This is probably another artillery or aviation preparation, and obviously and very likely today we're going to receive more updates and more progress of the Russian forces in direction of Vadiana. This is probably the ending game operation, which will completely determine the future of Ukraine, or at least of South Donetsk direction, because if the Russians can penetrate and break the Ukraine's defense belt in Ugledar and Konstantinovka, Novomikhailivka, the entire South Donetsk may collapse easy. When talking about Krynki and Zaporozhye, we haven't received almost anything, just few geolocations, few updates, some pictures of results of Russian strikes during the previous nights, nothing special, but anyway, the situation in this area continues and the clashes continues as well. The Russians continue bombing and attacking the Ukrainian boats that's currently, let's say, mobility was reduced significantly those days due to the ice on the river. On this video we can see another boat that stuck somewhere along the river and was bombed with FPV drone. So this is the situation in Krynki, and that's it for the short video. Military Summer channel reminds you to condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes to my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye bye.